Hello everyone and welcome back. First off, I want to apologize if you hear any ambient background noise. That would be the huge fan that is cooling my laptop, and the reason I'm using my laptop is because apparently NCIX.com thinks it's okay to take a month to send me 2 freaking sticks of RAM. Moving on. Today we're going to help you out with a $450 gaming PC build. Now, shout out to one of my subscribers who asked me for this. He said he wants to play WoW, he wants to play Battlefield 4, he wants to play DayZ standalone, and those are some pretty demanding games, and his budget was $450. And believe me, it's not easy to get in to stay in that price range and still play these games with decent frames at around medium high-ish. Maybe you could turn some things up, but it's pretty much a medium to high setting system for those games. So let's get right into it. Of course, if you've seen my $500 build, then you know what I think about the Fractal Design Core 1000 USB 3 micro ATX. It is beautiful. Just not the functionality, not the expandability, not any of that. Forget any of that. Forget the airflow. Just the aesthetics of it are amazing. So there you go. Fractal Design Core 1000. And let's get the boring stuff out of the way. So the power supply is the Corsair Builder 500 watt 80 plus bronze certified power supply. So it's 80 plus bronze, and it's more than enough wattage for whatever the heck you're gonna need, and it's from Corsair, so it's actually like a really good brand for power supplies, arguably one of the best. Now let's go on with the processor. We're gonna go a bit non-traditional, so it's not gonna be an FX processor. It's the AMD Athlon 2 X4 750K, and it's clocked at 3.4 gigahertz, and it is a quad core processor. Now the reason we went with a processor such as this one is because my subscriber said that he wanted to play DayZ standalone, and that is a very CPU intensive game, or at least a lot more CPU intensive than most games that mostly just rely on the GPU. So we had to get this. It's clocked pretty high, and it's a quad core, which is awesome. So since it's an FM2 socket, of course we're gonna have to have an FM2 motherboard, which is gonna be the Gigabyte GA F2A55M motherboard. So as you can tell by just looking at it, it's a pretty, you can see the age on this motherboard, but you know what? It has PCIe 2.0, which even though our card is PCIe 3.0, it's still gonna be insanely fast when you're looking at how much you're spending for this. It's a really good value motherboard, and yeah, I can't really say that there's anything that really competes with it at this price point. So for the RAM, we've got 8 gigabytes of G-Skill Ripjaws, 2 sticks, each of them 4 gigs, and yes, it is DDR3 at 1333. So what you could do is, if you want to improve the speed to the standard, which I guess would be 1600 or whatever, you could do that, but you would have to sacrifice the capacity and probably bring it down to about 4 gigs, which you could do because a game like DayZ, if that's like your main thing that you want to play, you really, yeah, I mean, 4 gigs, you can get away with it. You can get away with 4 gigs with DayZ standalone, and some other games, a lot of other games you can get away with. So the hard drive is going to be the Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte 3.5 inch 7200 RPM mechanical drive, and this is actually the drive I have in my system. I have an SSD. You're not going to have an SSD with this system here because of, again, 450 is really pushing the limit of how much performance you can squeeze out of it and still be able to play the the newest games. This is gonna be a lot of room, and honestly, you are freaking lucky to get a terabyte for this price range. And 7200 RPM, people talk trash, but the people who talk trash are people with SSDs. And honestly, if you've never had an SSD, you're not even gonna care. You're not even gonna notice any difference because you don't know what it's like to have an SSD. So yeah, you'll be fine with 7200 RPM, and it's a freaking terabyte, man. Again, I can't stress enough how lucky you are to get this 1 terabyte at this price range. You're so lucky. Your video card is the MSI Radeon R7 260X 2GB video card, and you're going to be able to play DayZ. You're going to smash through older games and, you know, a lot of indie type games like, let's say, Gary's Mod and stuff like that. You're going to smash through those games, and even the AAA titles that are the brand new AAA titles, you are going to be able to play these with really good frame rates at, you know, medium settings. You can even turn some stuff up pretty high, you know, 1080 and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I have to say this is a really good system, and I mean, it's not going to get much better than this for 450 bucks. I don't see it anytime soon. So the price could have gone down a little more. You might be able to hit, you know, 410 or something like that if you would go with one of those cases that it has a power supply already in it, but that power supply is not going to be 80 plus certified, so you lose reliability there. And if you're going to spend 450 bucks, or, you know, because 450 bucks, people who build PCs, they look at it and say, wow, you know, you would need to double that at least to get a solid gaming PC. But for even 450 bucks is a lot of money to pretty much anybody in the world. So I mean, you don't want to lose all that and potentially damage your components by having a cheapo power supply and an ugly case and terrible cable management and whatever. I mean, I know the Corsair 1000 doesn't have the greatest cable management ever, but certainly it's the high end of the lowest end pretty much. But yeah, basically that's the build. So again, shout out to my subscriber for giving me this challenge of the build, of the price range and whatever. Hopefully this will help you out in building your system. As always, the PCPartPicker.com link to this build is in the description, and make sure you subscribe and like. And everybody else who's watching, hit me up if you have any other builds that you want, any other price ranges or requirements that you want, any other games you want to play. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.